106th weekly live stream. This
We're
marks
getting old.
Yay.
a milestone of hitting a 1 and a 6. That's not 16. Everyone party, pizza for all. It's great.
And
guess-
don't forget next week when we hit our 1 and 7 milestone that's not 17.
Or
There will be
71.
Pizza Empire. Or 71. So welcome to the MLPDS Draw School
Hello,
Does a Thing.
everybody.
You're everyone. What? I'm so
What?
confused. Oh my gosh, Wanna Draw's already here.
Oh yeah, wanna draw.
Yay. I hear you're still critiquing up Storm on the Reddit and being
Our
awesome.
new shining star of the subreddit. Came in like a comet, flaring up like a star.
So what's on the agenda of poniness and art?
Oh yeah, and of course, people critiquing today are the lovely Living Dead, and the
Mhm.
Fluffy's Eye, and then
Yay.
the Alley Claw.
Yes, the best.
Claw, claw, claw.
Claw!
Ali Cuckoo.
The Claw.
the best one.
All right. So first up is CPC.
Yay.
You haven't lost any
The
critiquing. This
cutest
is
of
true.
pencil cases.
We often have at least 5 minutes of remembering where our pants are and who we are in that order.
Pretty much.
True.
Oh dang, CPC already got critiqued by Chaos.
Ooh.
So
Is there
I
anything
guess
new
our
that you
work's
haven't
done
been
here.
critiqued then?
Their critique is
Is there anything that Chaos hasn't like given you critique wise that you wondering about, or did you just want more second opinions?
oh my god, it's so adorable.
But I'm wondering what like references you use for Discord, because he looks really cool. He's not an easy character to draw.
So many parts.
She used a
So
broken
it's so
lamp.
like his face has such like an interesting and weird shape to it.
I have nothing else for the arm. That arm makes a lot more sense how he did it. Everyone
thought
else is
Chaos did it.
confused who's not in this, but that's only Wanna Draw. Hey, Wanna Draw.
Chaos did, not BFC.
Yeah. Words.
They are one now.
I'm not a big fan of the handle you have on the cup,
Yeah, that was something I'd agree with, because I'm not sure how it attaches.
because it's like going this way, but the handle looks like it wants to go that way instead. I don't know, maybe it's a big blob on the side that connects like a kid crafted it.
I definitely see the handle going the first arrow you've drawn, like it's going to the back right.
Yeah,
That's-
so
you
it's
see, like,
going
where
that way,
it's
but then
attached on
this
the thing.
the blob here says
Yeah.
otherwise. Hello,
I
ravioli.
think that's like it's sort of like a cup going like a rim going around the edge of the cup where the handle is.
Yeah.
Like if it was like a kind of T shape. I don't know. That's how I see it anyway. Did you have a teacup reference, TPC? Oh yeah, see that's what I was imagining.
What a weird handle.
Did you like use it? That's what I was asking. Did you use a reference for it? Oh, you lost the reference. Okay.
So it
It's
like
often they
grips
don't
the
have that little
cup.
thing. They just sort of come straight out of the cup.
Mm-hmm.
I see. It is an interesting shaped handle. I can't say I've seen many.
Yeah, me neither. I did actually understand what it was you were trying to draw though, so that's good. Even if LD struggled with it a little bit.
Just throwing shade over here.
Wow.
Hey, no, like we all have different eyes. We all have different like ways of perceiving art. So like sometimes we don't see things in the same way.
I see
That's why
LD's having problems, but I got it. Don't worry, Jess. I'm better
And
than
then the
him.
other time
Him and
you'll
his
see things that I won't be
zombiness.
able to understand.
Sorry, CPC. I was just checking to see how the handle would connect to the bottom. And it was hard for me to picture it without drawing a line.
Mm.
The other ear! The infamous other ear!
In this case, your other ear has actually just been detached from the head. Because how high you put the ears. You put the ears very high and very centered of the head. So I don't know how you're gonna make it vanish under her lovely curls. Curl, fold, wave,
Hair extensions.
black holes. I'm also very concerned for Fluttershy. She is in T, so
I bet
Listen,
it's
if Discord made it, he
relaxing.
can make it not hot.
I mean, that has to be a thing, taking a bath in tea. I'm sure somewhere, someone,
I bet the
you know,
English do
believes
it.
in
They love their tea.
bathing
Uh,
tea.
Tasha
I can
doesn't.
verify we do.
I have to believe it's a thing. If people willingly sleep in mud, then I bet people willingly take a
Who
bath in
willingly
tea.
sleeps in mud? Oh, like the
Really?
It's
facial
like a
thing?
spa, yeah.
Yeah.
A mud bath. And then they wrap themselves in seaweed. Because it does something.
It does something indeed.
All right, we ready to move on to the next one then?
I would say so.
No.
Womp womp.
All right.
Should we go down to the lovely wanna draw?
Absolutely.
Wanna draw if you're around. We're happy to answer any questions you have. You wanted the real hardcore critique package.
The
What?
live critiquing.
I got a problem. Where's the color, bro? Where's my color? Where's my line weights? Go
Line
to...
weights, that's a good one.
Yeah. If you're gonna do just black and white, line weights are very, very useful to abuse and use and abuse again.
Mm-hmm.
What are line weights? It's actually as it sounds. It's thickness of lines.
Yeah,
You can use them
want
to...
it all to have the exact same weight because things it kind of makes everything look a bit too consistent, and that can kind of throw you off because although we don't obviously have outlines in real life, it does help your brain sort of perceive thickness and light and like color tones, even if in black and white pitch.
Wait, Europeans don't have outlines? Maybe that's just a Canadian thing.
How do they hold their color in?
If you
out?
like stand with the sun behind you, then sometimes.
Yeah, and I think, especially with doing stuff in perspective, I think we talked a little bit about this last week with the bookcase. But like, your perspective, you have that going really great, but this feels more like a skeleton. Now, go back and give it some life. Give it that variety in line weight. Give it some texture. Give it, a little more oomph. And line weight is a great way to do it. Some little textures. Maybe some crosshatch shading. That could be something you could do to experiment with. Because I know you said you didn't know how to do a night sky with pencil. Well, something you can do is crosshatch the sky. And then, make a little eraser stars. You don't have to fill in the sky. Just like it's the idea that it's darker than something else.
Yeah, a good rule is sort of towards darker areas, line weights would be thicker, and towards lighter ones would be thinner.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what crosshatching is, it's a really easy Google. Do we have something on our
It's
subreddit?
not too hard to do, I don't think.
We had an entire challenge on it.
Oh,
If you go to the
Have to go
bi-weekly
back.
challenges, you'll find a bi-weekly challenge on cross-hatching filled with glorious little information tidbits on cross-hatching.
Boom. Subreddit provides.
Hell yeah.
We've done things before, we swear.
But we do things.
Well, Wanna Draw does things now. We just do the weekly live stream. Wanna Draw does a weekly drawing challenge, and now they have a draw your OC or draw best pony
Best
challenge.
pony contest.
They're just like making it rain different things to do on the subreddit. We might as well just make them a mod. They're doing more than us.
I was about to say, like, to get on the Discord, just become an admin. You're already doing great.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You'll rise quickly through the ranks and then get your little golden star badge.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, we will teach you the glories of trying to push Fine Line as a new god.
Yes. Bring back Fine Line. Bring back Fine Line.
She sneaks in every now and then to little cameos in our Aggies and stuff. Like the 100th one.
I mean, she's in this Aggie. Or this Picardo, sorry. Wait, is she? Yes, she is. She's still our icon.
Yeah.
Drawn by Itosh, of all people.
Ooh.
A man who, as far as we can tell,
original.
doesn't draw.
No, he bikes now. His art is biking and beer.
Yeah, that's right. So, Wanna Draw. We noticed you haven't actually said anything back to us. Do you have any further questions on this one?
Give us your comments. We want to know.
And I'm just seeing stars. And now, after watching that Vincent movie, you should all watch Loving Vincent.
I've heard about
What's it
that. That's
about?
the painting. That's the movie done entirely with oil paintings,
Yeah.
right?
Every single frame in the movie is a painting.
I have
That's
not heard of this.
insane. I remember seeing an image of like the setup that all the animators had for painting, and it was just like rows and rows of easels, and everyone was like looking back at each other and like looking at the. It was just a lot.
Over 100 different artists, apparently. Big progress. I learned 3D. Yeah, definitely. Your cart, wonderfully 3D. We can. I would take this stump here and actually pull it off just slightly over to the side, just to give it that overlap of the bench or the chest.
The box, the little chest, yeah.
Give it the overlap of the chest so it gives overlap instead of the tangent line that's forming over here. Because when they just sort of meet in a corner, you get weird little eye bits where you go, huh? Your background 3D seems empty. Yeah, throw the stars in as CPC. I think that was who did that.
Mm-hmm.
But they are
CPC
fluffy.
threw some stars in.
Well, they are, but stars are so far away. You know, it's just really fine.
And when you put the stars in, like we said earlier, we don't know if you heard, but like a little cross hatching, just to differentiate, make the sky darker than the thing you're looking at.
Yeah.
Cross hatching is like making things darker without just filling in the entire page with whatever you own. I highly recommend looking into it, especially if you want to do these types of pencil drawings with, you know, not having to use a whole pencil for each drawing, because it can take a lot. And so far, this is really great. Your 3D is really great, but still be careful because there's still some inconsistencies with the direction of the 3D. Like this wheel here looks like it wants to be a square, like facing us, while, of course, this big wagon is actually going this way. So, like, just little inconsistencies that will get better with time. This is all gonna
that's
get
all
better
just
with
training
time.
your eye.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus.
Yes, my son.
I'm on the wrong layer. I'm on the wrong layer.
No,
Wait, I thought you were God, LD. Now you're
Right.
Jesus.
I
He
am
fluctuates.
everything I want to be, including the platypus.
He's the Holy Trinity. God, Jesus, and the platypus.
I
Yup,
was hoping you would say that.
yup. We went to that level of blasphemy today, everyone. Holy
fine.
Celestia, someone's gonna kill us.
It's fine. I went through all the years of Catholic school. I can say these things.
I was a Presbyterian right up until I was 16. Then I was allowed out.
I never
yeah,
did anything.
I really think this is awesome. You push yourself to do background. You're asking questions, which is awesome.
I Honestly, I definitely like the framing because you got like this really big like cart on the right and this big sort of like tree mound earth whatever is on the left, and then you've got all the detail of the background pulling your eye to where the pony is. So it's really nice framing on this.
Mm-hmm. I think it would be cool to see, like we said earlier, line weight changes, and also textures, like little maybe squiggles of leaves in the tree, and little wood grain on the wagon, on the stump having the little, like, the little circular stumpy age bits.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff I think will add and make your drawing pop that much more, especially when you're just doing like line art like this. There's so much you can do with line art. There's so much you can do to make it pop.
Also, when it comes, just because we sort of talked about the wheel and like how that the perspective is off, to help you sort of understand really how to push it, I would just give like a blank piece of paper, draw the wheel again, and then just sort of like draw it at different angles. Just really exaggerate. Okay, if it's like really forced frontwards and it's really gonna have this like super perspective, or like have a more natural perspective, or a super exaggerated perspective, like with bending and stretching. But try it at different angles and different sort of extremes, and that will really sort of help you to understand like, okay, if I'm gonna be drawing this wheel here, because you've got the right idea drawing it like 3D, but with a bit of practice and sort of experimenting with that, you'll really be able to say, okay, no, I'm really going to throw the front of this wheel forward towards the perspective, and you'll understand better how to layer that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So just draw a page of extremes and experimenting. Yeah, just like Ali's drawing there.
A good friend practice is the best way. It knows all. All hail practice.
Yes, practice and experimentation. What is Q-Pen's case yelling about?
Distance. Don't worry about overthinking about how much detail you need to add. It's just something to start working in, maybe, bit by bit. You're not going to get it in the first or second or even 10th time you try. It's all about just gradually trying things, working things in, experimenting, and practicing with different stuff.
Absolutely.
So just keep at it. I mean, the best way to improve fast is to take the time to practice and to go out and do a little research, because that is a part of practicing. Even though some people get caught up in reading too much and not practicing enough, I know some people also get caught up in practicing enough without doing the reading to learn better ways to practice. So it's like, gotta find that balance. But
Absolutely.
practice is definitely key.
Yeah. Both are very important.
Any other questions want to draw?
Bueller. Bueller.
Bueller.
What?
You have never seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
No, I barely know who that is right now. I can't remember. Who is that again?
No, you have homework now. I am assigning you homework. This isn't a laughing matter. This is serious business. I expect by this time next week you've watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I mean, it's Nathan Lane, so it's, pretty good guy.
Oh no, Ali, watch how much you got. You don't want to suffocate.
I'll forgive you this one time.
I won't.
A lot of people, like, I recognize if I see them, but, like, I just don't really pay attention to, like, oh, that's that actor playing stuff.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm terrible with
I know
names.
characters more than actors.
Yeah. If someone tells me a famous person's name, I'm like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me what they did. But some people I do know. That's all want to draw? Well, hopefully we were helpful. If there's anything else, just let us know. Again, thanks for all the awesome stuff you're doing on the subreddit. It's really cool to see someone being active, like really pushing the community. So that's cool. Otherwise, let's move on to the next dot.
Okay. We're just gonna scroll up all the way over, and then we're gonna realize that we don't have a left scroll. So it's a rah 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 rah.
Not to be confused with rah rah.
No, this one's
The curls are very nice.
I am loving this
They're
top
tricky to
and
do.
bottom mane right here.
Yeah.
It's good.
Anything I would say is like you got a lot of like detail and shine and shade and everything in the mane and tail, which is done very, very nicely. But apply some of that to the body. I mean, the show typically it uses gradients and tones and everything for the colors, which I guessing is what you were doing here with that. But there's no reason why you can't add a little bit of shading to the body as well. Just sort of experiment with what you can do. Outline the legs a little bit. I can see you sort of already shadowed the back leg, but try sort of applying more of that shading and lighting stuff to the rest of it.
And I am just shrinking the size of that badunkadunk.
Yeah, her torso looks a little bit long. Anything.
She's got all that junk inside her trunk. She's gonna make you. All right. So as I was singing, essentially we just want to shorten out that body a bit. If we're going for standard MLP style, so standard MLP style is basically one head circle equals about 1.5 body length. Whoa, that's an eraser. We're gonna 1.5 body length, so one head circle, 1.5 body length, and then this is about 3/4 body height. If we add in the neck, we get about 1. The legs are about 1 too. What that all equates to is a cute little petite pony.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what we want.
This is pony math, everyone. So shrink the body a bit. It will give that cuteness, roundness, non-slinkiness. If your goal is to actually go with long horses, make sure you keep the rest of the accents going long too. What that means is, if you go with the long body, you probably also want to go long legs. Not necessarily a long neck, but you want to try and stretch out the head too. The reasoning behind this is because if you don't, like a human, if they have a very short body, they'll look very weird. I'm looking at you, whoever the person of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, never mind. I thought you.
Who's Danny DeVito? Danny DeVito looks weird, right? And it's because he's got the very short body, but somewhat okay long legs. He just looks weird because of that. His proportions are wrong. Someone screwed up in his proportions.
He's not human. I thought you'd know that. He's the Lorax. He's a being from another world. Dr. Seuss made him.
He's a little he's a little satyr who trains Hercules in the Disney movie.
So, your goal is to not make Rarity Danny DeVito.
always a good goal in life.
But your horn and ear and eye and your muzzle's fine. You can work on that later. Let's get the body going. This mane is great. Let's bring that back to the body.
Yeah. Though I do have one thing to comment on for the tail. I think I love the curls, and I can definitely tell you're referencing one of the vectors, but one of the keys to Rarity's mane is that if you uncurled it, it would just be like a ribbon, this straight flat line. And when it's curled, it's this ribbon that goes over itself a few times. But when you draw her mane like this, how it connects down here, it's like this is a thick part. Like we see this as like one thick part, where this part of the tail right here should be folding over and become this part of the tail. So like if I were to draw right above,
Yes.
just kind of like, okay, so we have our tail, and then there's a point where it'll meet and then curve in on itself, kind of like these strips. And then of course you can go back in and erase these little in-between parts, but this is just an exaggeration of like the curl. Oh wait, how did my color change? Yeah. The exaggeration of like the curl changing directions. You know, you gotta feel that. Why do I keep changing color? What's going on?
Are you pressing control and making the color pick come up?
I think my palm keeps hitting my touchpad.
Oh.
But anyway, so yeah, you gotta find that
Yeah, think of it like
ribbon.
a pretty swirly
Yeah.
ribbon.
You swirl it around, make the ribbon happen, make it feel flowy.
Listen, you gotta make a great A+ rarity to make Ali Claw happy. Submit your tributes to the fluff, the lion.
Rarity's great. She's wholesome.
Bonus points if she has like a chibi Applejack in her mane, like a little plushie.
Just trying to ship them.
Listen.
She did have
When something works,
a shrine for them for Christmas.
When it works, it works. But yeah, this isn't the best example of a rarity tale, but I just wanted to really What?
Rarity Tale sounds like a book.
Oh. Wow. I just really wanted to
just to illustrate like the ribboniness.
The curl, yeah, like have it stretched out a little bit more because her curls are a little
as if
tighter.
someone like pulled the little spiral.
Yeah. So yeah, just motions, curly motions, boing.
Yay! There's an Applejack on the head. That's nice. Thank you, CPC.
Yeah. And I know her tail is a ribbon because the comic artist made it canon. Because they're like, if you want to draw Rarity's tail, you take a ribbon and a pencil, and you wrap that ribbon around the pencil, and that's how you draw Rarity's tail.
I think they said a phone cord. You know, the curly phone cords, the pigtail phone cords.
That too.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember seeing that. That's pretty cool.
it was at BronyCon.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Someone specifically asked, "How do you draw Rarity's mane?"
It is sort of early mystery to be solved with art when you're learning to draw the
Swirly curly. It's a mohawk gone swirly.
All right. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Scrolly, scrolly, scrolly.
Squirrel.
Oh, apparently there's a giraffe beneath us.
I'm a giraffe.
I'm a pony.
I gotta pull up that video now.
And last but not least is this horse. I'm not quite sure what horse it is, but it's a horse provided by Horse. Or Purple Horse, actually. And their question is, does this pose make sense? I realize it's a little late that I are standing on two left legs. You know what? Two left legs are fine. Ponies can be weird like that.
Yeah, I often make that mistake, and then I'm like, well, it's not really a mistake, but I draw it, and I'm like, wait, they must be doing some serious balancing here.
Why not?
Yeah,
Pony's
it's totally possible. It's fine. It's just we always sort of feel like it'd be more comfortable for a pony to be standing on the floor. Although, is she like leaning her back leg against a tree or something there? Oh yeah, she's on a branch, so she looks like she's probably balancing with the back leg on the trunk there. That's okay. It's all cool. I would say that the same thing as above. This body feels slightly long. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Also, the front leg.
The one lifting up the zap apple. It looks like a zap apple. I'm just gonna say it is. My tablet isn't actually in functioning position right now. But I'm just gonna do my best. So the leg doesn't seem to have enough bends to it. I'm trying to figure out so that you could do this, or sort of have it. Oh no, I would have it sort of come down, bent up, and then you have the hoof there, because the legs is gonna have a little bit more of a joint. If that makes sense. It just looks a little bit too. It sort of looks like a tap, or like a horn of plenty, stuck to her body. And in fact, I'd say it's a little bit too high up as well. It's kind of coming up her neck. So oh god, this is going to take a while. I'll get there eventually. Rubbing out the shoulder joint. There we go. So maybe slightly lower, so attach it around here.
You got
That
this.
makes any sense?
We got this together.
Oh, that was a nice mouse curve there, using my mouse skills.
Why?
drawing with your mouth.
What?
Don't be the bad example.
My tablet's not plugged in. I'm sorry.
Holy cow.
What?
Take the cable, boop, plug it in.
Need to find my pen.
Just ask CPC for it back.
We keep stealing each other's pens, apparently. Yeah, always try and use a tablet to draw, kids. Also, how is that apple like hanging from the tree? And then they're just like, yeah, look at what I found. Or are they like throwing it, like sort of tossing it up and down again? I'd wager it's like attached to the tree. But if you want to sort of make that more clear, I would strengthen the leaves around it to make it obvious it's disappearing behind leaves, because it looks like the sort of the zappy stem is just like stopping in the air, because we can't really see the trees very well. So just make sure that it's covered up properly, so our minds say, hey, yeah, that's not cut off there. It's just disappearing behind the trees. I am gonna need to be a bee.
I don't believe you. He's just running off to the wilderness to join his trash panda brethren.
So I love you have this tree branch with all the little branches. But I think my main problem with it is that I can't quite. It doesn't feel like she's on it. It doesn't feel like there's a surface she's standing on. Just that it's sort of like a flat thing. So something easy to do is just kind of do what I did here, which is just add some maybe hints of like areas where it could have a cutoff of the surface, you know? Even though tree branches are round, they still sort of, if you look at any sort of like cylinder, if you like put it on its side and you put a light to it, you'll see that they have really strong light along the top, but then it fades to darkness. Like there's an edge where the light kind of really chokes out, becomes the more darker area. So that gives it a surface feeling. And like you can kind of play with that with branches where, like I did here, like I said, just some lines to indicate maybe a harsh like line where a surface can be, and then just some hatch shading, some little scribbles to give like the dark areas some life, some pop, something, you know, for stuff to just get some shape from. And I think that'll help, you know, even with the attachment of the tree. There's little things, little lines, especially since this is like a sketchy a thing, not like a clean. I always tell people to not worry about cleanness too much, especially when they're sketching with pencils and stuff, because I often see people try to be so clean with their sketching. Don't be clean. Give it a little mess. Give it some life. You can always clean things up, but you can never unstiffen a stiff thing when you want to keep it clean. There's no room to play. All that fun stuff. And Q Pencil Case has a really great drawing over here to help with the variety of leg pose. I completely agree. I definitely think that you should have, out of the 4 legs, a back and a front leg of opposite sides touching the ground. Because right now they're kind of, you know, if this is the butt of the pony, they only have 1 leg contact here, so everything's up on this side. They'll just go whomp, falling over. And they're on a tree branch, so that's going to be rough on them to fall. Don't want to see the pony getting hurt.
I agree.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. All right, on to the next one.
Sounds good. We also have a new submission in Picarto.
That's the submission. That's the next one.
I didn't know.
Oh my gosh, Allie, read my mind.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Girl. Yeah, we're just gonna paste it over top of other stuff. All right, so the pony is teleporting. Teleportation gone wrong. Best channel? I totally agree. Right after TVO Kids. No. The old History Channel before it picked up every show it has now. Back when it actually had history. God,
Actually.
That. Yeah, it used to
History.
be so good. All right, so let's talk horse going on here. There's this weird outline here. I can't quite. It's the DeviantArt logo. It's just a watermark.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
By the way, apparently we're the Batman channel. All right, so you want to tell me how this this happened? Because I'm seeing just like a unicorn, or sorry, an alicorn just in the sky. Kind of looks like she's flying, like she's flying up and ready to do a roll kind of thing. But then the legs fully stretched out says fainting goat. So what's the story here? Also foxtail. She's got a foxtail.
Yeah. I think I remember this OC from before. Has a foxtail, all floofy. Oh, right, there's so much lag. They just got to the watermark comment.
What?
All the lag. Tumbling through the air.
It's not really screaming that to me. The reason is all legs stretched out. When you're tumbling about, like say rolling down the side of a hill crazily, you're trying to grab at something. Even if it doesn't exist, you're trying to, oh gosh. So let's give her that look, right? So a few things are going to tell us that. First thing would be wings not even, meaning like one flapped out, the other one somewhat closed, flapping down, just chaos going on there. The front of this mane, that's got to be all sort of swished up. It's got to be messed up. Reason is, if you're tumbling, you got all sorts of weird G-forces on you. It's going to be going wild. Legs, some closed, some open. Maybe make her reach for something that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're to go, oh gosh, reaching right to the camera.
You know what would be a good reference? Spitfire's Day Off. There's a lot of great, like, tumbling and flying and, like, really relaxed, like, flying going on in that one.
Such a good video. You should just rewatch it because it's good.
If you haven't seen it, it's pretty much Spitfire is having a good time. Yeah, I'll link it. I'll link it in the chat. Boom. It's a very simplistic style, but I feel like it'll give good ideas for movement.
It's by Captain Horse. What? My mom is messaging me, and she's not making any sense. Anyone got a decoder ring for this?
I barely understand parent texts.
She installed viruses
Texts are hard.
on a Chromebook. I didn't think that was possible. Oh my god. Oh my god. She installed.
What?
She's on a Chromebook, so we're good here. We're good. We're just.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Nene, wanna draw?
I see we have fluffy carriages and stuff at the bottom.
And I'm loving what Q Pencil Case is doing here. I think something else that'll really help is that I feel like her expression looks like joyful. Like she looks like she's having a great fun time. And from the story you're telling us, it seems like she's having trouble phasing through portals and like things go wrong and now all of a sudden she's teleported again and things collapsed and there's madness and flailing and so I would maybe look up some expressions that could maybe better suit the situation if you want to give across that idea that she's just kind of struggling, the portals are closing, she doesn't know what's going on, just kind of like that disoriented,
I know it can be very hard to sort of deal with, like, how am I supposed to draw an accurate expression in a smaller space? Or, like, maybe draw it bigger first, and, like, draw it the other way up so you easily can, since it's on paper, you can just turn it upside down. But just, draw it bigger, practice what the expression's going to look like, then maybe practice sort of translating that into smaller form once you know where everything's going to go roughly. Or even just, like, draw it again and again, getting a little bit smaller each time. That might seem really tedious and hard to, like, oh, how can I get it accurate each time? But in doing so, you're giving yourself more practice and experience, so it's not a bad thing.
So after, in answer to Stratajaw, sorry, brain in two locations at once here. Currently talking is Alley Claw, Fluffy's Eye, and Living Dead.
No.
It's up to your mind to figure out which one's which. But I'll give you a hint.
Well, one of them's a zombie. That's kind of a giveaway.
Fluffy.
The name.
and CPC is in Picarte or in Draw Pile, fluffing everything.
See, Ali Claw and I are both just very fluffy ponies, and in Cupid's case is the one who like makes everything fluffy. So did Cupid's case fluff us?
Everyone is fluff. There's no.
just in the pony universe, instead of atoms, it's just like pieces of fluff, but it's just like everything is made out of fluff.
Even if she's not clueless about what's going on, you're still going to have sort of chaos going on, because when you're as you say spinning, you aren't in full control, right? Even if you have control to get in and out of the spin, while you're in that, you're still subject to all the crazy G's and all the craziness that's going on. So your mane goes one way, your legs, you're trying to do your best to hold them in, because if you hold them out, it's actually going to very much slow down your spin, like what are those, ice skaters.
Disrupt your like your angle, like the axis almost as well. If the legs are like spread out, you're gonna start like spinning all over the place wildly.
Totally. Ravioli, you aren't the only person who says that. It's weird. I don't get it, but hey,
Yeah.
we can be your personal DJ.
But thank you. It's nice to hear that, because I don't believe anyone. I don't know why you guys are here. What's going on? Why are you listening to us?
There was a person who said our voices are weird. So we're trying to come up with ways of changing them.
Recovering from the backlash.
We need a fund for helium and what's bromide? What's the deep gas?
I don't want to die.
You don't die off of it, just don't constantly breathe it. Flipping head over tail, head over teacup, head over hooves.
So I guess I want to ask, is she confidently doing all this stuff? Because I definitely can tell if she is confidently swooshing through portals. I don't, because like the whole portal story, I don't get any of that from this image. I see no
that's what
portal,
I was thinking, because I came into this late, so I kind of didn't say anything, but I was like, where are portals?
Like, I think if you want to incorporate that part of the story, maybe you have the portal collapsing right near her, some sort of, exit, and like, you could have a nice little effect that frames her because the portal's collapsing and it's this big shining light like right between her and the city. So it like pushes her from all the details in the background. And I have to say, very nice work on the detailing of the background. That's a very nice city map you got going on there. There's things we can do. We can make it better. We can push it to the limit.
Push it to the limit. Yes. You can even like place. You've got like a lot of backgrounds open. So what you could have done is like have the portal just sort of like to her left or to the right. I would say to the left because there's a lot of room there. Just like place it sort of like obscurely, so like over things, so we can kind of tell it's in the air, but like just floating between her and the city, like Ali said. So it doesn't need to be directly behind her. You know, having things asymmetrical really like would throw some like life and chaos into this because that's what you want to do, as opposed to everything looking like orderly and routine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so she's confidently doing this. So yeah,
Okay.
I
It's not like
totally, I would say, go find all the Rainbow Dash
Yes.
like references of her
Yeah.
flying, of her in the Wonder Bolts. She's gonna have some really confident flying action shots.
And definitely
gonna
not
be
like the
the
legs.
best
The legs would definitely be like folded in, just like it's the difference between like the legs kind of like haphazardly waving about, or they or the legs just they sort of tucked in uniformly and staying put so that her body can move accurately. You know.
Hmm. So she's trying to regain control. So it's
Yeah.
not quite as confident. There's still little, because like I think it's good to kind of pick what's going on. Is she confidently regaining control, or is this like she's out of, she's regaining control because she's not in control, so she's in that, because like I can't, some people can
Yeah,
keep a
it's
cool
hard
head,
to work out.
so it's all in the personality there, and others have like a moment of like you can't quite tell what's going on in their face because they're slightly panicked, but then they got it, just they need the second to pick up
Mhm.
all their thoughts and stuff. So I think that's something definitely for you to play with. We could talk about this for hours, but I think the census here is that we all think there could be a little bit more movement and change with the legs, like Cute Pencil Case is drawn, like wings going different directions because the little spin and the legs tucked in parts. Because just having the legs out splayed flat, you can look at birds or any kind of animation with Pegasi in it. Whenever they're flying or in the air, they don't normally have all their legs outstretched.
Yeah.
Because usually when you fly, you want to tuck in to be aerodynamic.
Yeah, just because what we said, when your legs are stuck out, it's basically pushing your center of gravity out, and it's like not giving them as much control. So they want to be like a little missile with their wings on the side, you know, having full
Yeah.
control.
And even when they're just fluttering, they still have their wings or their hooves picked up a bit. They're never just flat, you know? There's always a little interesting pose. So that's a bunch of stuff to play with. And I have to also say this is a really hard pose you're doing. So kudos to you for like attempting this. So you should definitely give yourself credit for that too.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
Yay!
Yeah.
Are we doing? Is this the helium segment? Are we all on helium now?
I think so.
All right, on to the next one. But ravioli. We call ravioli over.
Ravioli, bring me the formuoli.
First question for you, Ravioli. What are you using to color with? Before I even paste the picture. I need to change the picture because you guys like big pictures.
I blame phones. They take big pictures.
Yeah.
Especially for traditional.
This is very much a scanner bed. Because it's flat.
I lied.
Full lies, Ellie. How am I going to trust you?
I'm sorry. I have to repair our friendship.
What have you done?
They say watercolor markers in the post.
What is a watercolor marker? I have never used one.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna quick Google. I'm gonna guess
What
it's a
was that noise?
water-based marker, not an alcohol-based marker. Yeah, water-based markers.
That makes sense. God dang it, I hate you, Michael Zapp. Hey, I'm gonna
Who's that?
search. Nope, you don't get to search anymore. Yes. So I have used some of these crazy watercolor markers. I'm not sure which type you're using, but they do play very much the same as watercolor, but as though you aren't using very much water, so it doesn't have a lot of time to blend.
Mm-hmm. I'd also be curious what type of paper you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see no grain on this paper. And if you're gonna do something wet, you need something a little poundage and a little grain, so it holds nice and good.
Never use the Tombos. They look just fine. Just fine. They apparently conform to some type of standard. I don't know what this standard means. But hey, they felt they needed to tell me. It means it's an art material that does not provide chronic health hazards.
Oh.
Okay. I guess that means you can eat it. He ate the paint. All right. It's on a sketchbook, rather hard cardboardy type paper. Is it like paper or watercolor paper? Because there's like cold press, hot press, and then just green paper. They all respond differently to water, specifically how they absorb. I find like regular sketching book paper, if I watercolor on it, it will suck in my watercolor like no tomorrow. But if I do a nice cold pressed watercolor paper, it like, well, it's a liquid on it. It floats around a bit. Gives you a few moments to actually blend together those nice colors, and then it'll pull in, and the color doesn't change too much.
I guess I was wrong. I really would have thought that the scanner bed would pick up the little bumps in the paper. I guess I was
The
wrong.
contrast might be very high. Yeah, dry immediately, so that could be part of the problem. Now, nifty thing if you want to try and improve that dry immediately stuff, grab a brush with just water on it, soak the area you're doing before, just give it a nice little water wash, and then go at it while it's still wet. Your marker should just lay down ink as though it's a paintbrush. It might eat that a little bit quicker than just laying it on the ink, or laying it on the paper, but it should work. Although at that point, you're almost better off just using watercolor paints because they're cheaper and they're doing exactly that.
I actually found an interesting website on how to work with the watercolor properties of the watercolor markers.
Oh yeah? You should link it to them.
Totally just did.
Oh my gosh, it's all about the Tombow markers too. The ones they're using.
Right? I'm being specific. So I guess I don't know if we asked, but did you use a watercolor brush with this at all, or is this just purely the markers? Because
it does just lay down
I feel
pigment.
like it does, but I think the benefit to these markers is the fact that it can be the watercolor to make those smooth transitions.
Because the Winsor Newton ones are closer to a brush.
But it still doesn't pull because you're not getting heaps of wet pigment. It's just
cool.
what you need.
I gotta pick up another set of those.
Because I'm. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all yours.
Purely markers. I would say pull in get a wet brush. Clean up some of those lines because it definitely seems like your paper is sucking up that marker, so you're getting a lot of streaks and you're getting a lot of cloudy color. It's like sucking your ink up, where if you get like a wet brush, it'll help pull that ink around and really make a nice smooth surface, and like get your colors to be a little bit more smoother on the paper itself instead of getting those streaky lines in those cloudy areas.
Oh my gosh. What the heck?
Yeah, MQ pencil case brings up a good point that these markers will dry pretty fast. So it's a hard.
Enough life.
Sure thing, CPC. It's not like a. I'm not sure what type of website this is. I just found it for
Informational.
searching. Yeah, I found it through Pinterest. So
I don't have anything really to say about the face short of the fact she has no jaw. That's fine if that's what you're going for, because this is a actually very normal style where you opt out of a jaw. I do like the tail. You have a non-pooping tail.
yay.
The coloring of her mane is off, but I'm going to blame that on the lack of color choices. Because if you only have 10 markers, you use what you got. You can choose to mix them, but be careful, especially with your markers, because they'll pick up color. Like the tips will pick up color, just like a Copic will.
I would just play with them. Just get a scrap of paper and see what you can do. See how the mixing works. See how putting two lines next to each other works. I know, going back to what was said about them drying quickly, Copics have the same issue. If you want to blend an area, you have to do it at the same time. You need to do that blend right away. If you're just going and laying in all your darks, by the time you get to your last dark area, that'll be dry and you won't be able to blend. So it's like, you know.
So here's if I can give you an idea for your next investment in art, this. It's going to lend itself beautifully with what you have. $20. I have not used an eighth of it, and I've probably done 300 paintings with the thing.
God bless the Koi watercolor kit. It is a great kit for anyone who wants to attempt watercolors. It's just really good. I've had it.
They're
I've
good,
had mine
bold colors. They aren't the best colors, but at their price, yeah dang, they're
it's great.
Good.
Oh, absolutely.
They're no Winsor Newton, but you aren't spending $200.
Exactly.
If you compare them to actually some of the even middle to high-end brands, they have better color boldness than some of them. Honestly, $20, do it. If you're in Canada, they even have it on Amazon.ca. Just change that to a .ca. I don't know about UK, but you'll pick them up at any decent art store. They'll be on Amazon. They'll be on eBay. They're everywhere. They're very prominent. Just do it. They also come with the watercolor brush. And it's the watercolor brush that holds water in the back. So you load it up with the water, you take it somewhere, and you use it.
You can get those really cheap too. Like you can get a set of 5 with different sizes. Super cheap.
Yeah. So beyond that, your little Twi horse is adorable. She does seem to be very young because she's missing her cutie mark, but she is still fluffy, so that's good.
As long as the pony's still fluffy.
German Amazon.de. Yeah. I think our resident BFC has them, if I recall correctly.
Cutie marks, wings, and horns are like so easy to forget.
Yeah, right. I often forget wings and horns.
Just draw undead. The undead lose their cutie marks. It's my personal fan theory. When you die, your cutie mark disappears. That
It's
is how
always
they
funny
pronounce them
'cause-
dead.
That doesn't
Wow,
go too
that's
outside of my own theory, actually.
that's one heck of a headcanon.
You're a very cheery personality.
I'm dead on the inside and out. So
Do you need a hug, buddy? Do you need a hug?
I need a nap.
Naps are good. Hugs are also good.
Do you have any other questions for us, Ravioli?
Yeah. Also, while we wait, speaking to the forgetting the cutie mark thing, I know I always laugh because my SO he used to draw a lot more. He doesn't as much anymore. But one of his most viewed pictures was actually Vinyl Scratch, but he forgot the horn. But it was
Huh?
already like out there, so it's like you can't change it now.
Oh.
Doesn't DA let you update? Oh no,
Well,
that's
yeah,
Yeah,
not
but
but
like people have already saved it and put on Derpy Ballroom, and you
like
can blog
No,
on
and
no.
Tumblr.
Tumblr
It's like,
reblogs
yeah,
and
you
it's like
can't
it's already
change
out.
it.
the Zom pony there looks like Russian because he's got a big unibrow. I'm Russian zombie. I live on vodka.
Only dead vodka.
Dead potato.
We are horrible ponies.
Hey Kitty, can you link some of those bird pictures? I'd be curious to see them.
Birdie.
Because some animals do stretch out their legs, but there still wouldn't be a perfect, like, straight, flat, stiff
Yeah.
noodle.
Things don't go okay. I'm going to be very careful about this wording. Be careful about how you make appendages stiff. Damn it.
You're failing right now.
PG
Because
stream.
legs and arms, unless if you're doing that like who's the very famous Da Vinci pose, tend not to be totally straight legged.
Mm-hmm. Got joints. You got bumps. And I know it's MLP world, but they got bumps and stuff. They have animation to help them. So when you freeze frame animations and they have their legs sticking out flat, odds are the next frame they're gonna start moving again. So it's like,
and if I may, using the fact that it's MLP as an excuse for not doing something is like it's skirting the issue. MLP shouldn't be the start and end of your art. It should be just the beginning. Like it's
yes.
Ponies are wonderfully easy to draw, and they're a great way to hold your attention. Because guess what? We kind of like those small horses. We really enjoy the show, and it's fun to draw the characters from it. And they're also easy. They're very easy. So if you can start off easy, you can work your way up. It's like going from Mega Blocks to Lego and then to Technic. You got to start somewhere. So might as well be with something interesting.
Yeah. Like I think we brought this up before, but what's his name? The artist who draws very show style, but at the same time not very detailed. He always does the big giant ponies in being ships or something.
And Seamus?
NC Mares, yes.
Yeah, he's in our group, isn't he?
Yeah, his work is very inspired by the MLP cartoon, yet he pushes it to be this detailed and thing that has depth. So like, don't let the confounds of the show.
Yeah, you can. He's a good example of like how you can stay like accurate to the show style, but still like make it something new and like really cool looking, really detailed. And you can experiment in so many other ways too.
Yeah, CPC, penguins aren't the best flyers.
That sounds like a conversation I want to be a part of right now.
It's still a cute image and a good action pose. Like we can even see there, the legs aren't just perfectly straight. They have the bends of the thigh into the foot. That's true. They water flyers. But yeah, if anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to ask, because I think we're out of pictures.
All out of pictures, so lost without him.
You almost got flagged there.
Just a couple seconds.
I am playing on the edge here.
That's
Living on
how
the
LD
edge.
lives. On the edge. He's
You
such an edgy
you
zombie.
can't flag parody, Dino. Parody is protected.
Are you sure? YouTube has proved this wrong.
That's fair.
Although, in the defense of YouTube, they are their own platform, so they get to decide what is okay and not.
Womp womp, kitty. Hope you find the picture, because I'd love to talk about it. I know CPCO is linking some stuff in our Discord, which, by the way, y'all should totally join our Discord.
Yes.
Come to
Great.
us.
Good time. The link's below the stream in the description.
Yay.
Ooh, CPC found an awesome one. I don't know if you want to bring that up on the stream, Zom.
Never.
Never.
Click, 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 click. Is that a rooster?
It's very pretty colored bird.
What is that?
I like its tail. A pheasant. That sounds about right. I'd believe that. The tail reminds me of a pheasant.
I got a present, pheasant. Wait, no.
Pheasant. But yeah, if we look at this bird, sure, there's maybe one leg or two legs stretched out, but there's still movement, there's still bent spots, there's still, more things than one happening. It's not just all legs out flat, straight, stiff. Because you gotta constantly, it's like running. You can't run with your legs stiff, you gotta bend your knees, you gotta, even if you're recovering, But yeah. I guess that's all we got.
All right, then. Well, you know what time it is.
What time is it?
It's
Mail
about
time?
6:39.
Oh.
It's Mighty
Morphin'
Morphin Power Rangers time. Wait, what's their new dance? They like slap themselves multiple times. Just moonwalk off the screen.
I'd believe it. No, they take out their fidget spinners and let them clack together. You gotta be hip with the kids.
Fellow kids.
Sorry, what did I miss?
Squirrels. All right, we're gonna call it a day. We'll talk to you next time this week. Like you have to come
Same
back
channel.
in time.
Next time this week.
Yeah, you have to come back in time to talk to us.
Oh, right.
So long, and thanks for all the fluff.
Yeah. Join our
Pony on.
Discord.
Seriously, join our
Yeah.
Discord. Like now. Right now.
Do it. Come
Right
to us.
I expect you all to suddenly appear right now.
Accept the fluff.
All right, so long.
Bye-bye.